What's up, internet? Oh, hey. What is good, internet? Can I get out this way? Nope. Oh, God, the other way. I don't know. It's one of them days, right? Just like, it's one of them days. You know, that song, but you sing the entirety of it. I don't know how the song goes, or if it's even a song. So I was taken on a rabbit hole today, right? I found out Norm Macdonald, right? That guy. You guys remember him. He was on Saturday Night Live and a bunch of other things. If you don't know who Norm is, come on. He had a podcast, other things. Saturday Night Live, did I mention that? Anywho, so Norm Macdonald took down all of his podcasts. Well, most of we tried to, anyways. Once it's on the internet, let me let you know. I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. But once something's on the internet, especially something as popular as Norm Macdonald, once that's on the internet, you can't remove it. You can delete your own posts. But just by having it on the internet means that somebody has gone through the trouble of downloading every single file that you've ever uploaded, right? So I went on a little search. I was like, fuck, where do I find this podcast now? Because I wanted to rewatch 2 episodes of Norm Macdonald Live. I was only interested in 2. And those were the 2. So I was watching another podcast, right? So who was his reviews? Al. So yeah, you go check. What's the dude's name? Started thinking, and the brain is coming up with names. It's nope, that's not the right name. That's. If you think what I'm doing is bad, you should Norm Macdonald's podcast. I didn't get it, right? Because it was like, Norm Macdonald's podcast isn't that racy, isn't that, well, sometimes, you know, it is a comedy thing, so, and he has other comedians on. Sometimes they're trying to showboat their comedies, and so I was like, man, let's go look that up. And then, to my surprise, I was like, Norm Macdonald has taken down his podcast from everywhere. Well, he tried to anyways. He was like, literally, I don't know if that's a network thing or the people producing it or him himself didn't want it up anymore, or he's made some kind of a deal where his podcast going forward is going to be on network A or B or whatever, right? I still don't know to this day. So I'm going down the rabbit hole. I'm like, where is this damn podcast at? Where is this gosh darn podcast? So I'm searching the internet, as I normally do when I want something. You know, going to the dark web, checking out the dark web. Then I found a Reddit post, and I was like, well, this will answer my question. Reddit's always got the answer to every question that ever asked, right? And, so sure enough, somebody re-uploaded the podcast in its entirety. Well, it's a video podcast, so I was like, wow. I did find the audio before the video, and I was like, here's the audio. Let me spread this around. And then I was like, damn, somebody already got the videos up. So I checked that out, and I was like, and I rewatched the episode, and the only thing, like, he had a sidekick in the later seasons, I guess. I don't know. Maybe he was on the first season. I'm not sure. But by season 2, he had this, you know, I don't want to call him an open micer or, you know, less funny Norm Macdonald straight man. I forget his name. It's irrelevant, though. And whatever, he's one of those Holocaust deniers. And that's the only thing I could find that was even slightly offensive. He said cocksucker was. And I was like, what is Sam Hyde talking about here? And it must have been the Holocaust denier thing. That's the only thing that would, really stand out as shocking to some, but it's not really. If you have the internet, you know that people are dumb. And have dumb theories and ideas, right? Even if you show them, tons of proof. But either ways, right? So I went down the rabbit hole for nothing. And I was like, man, I did watch that episode before. And it's a 2-parter. So I was like, fuck. You got me, Sam. You got me. I really don't know what was offensive, or like maybe because he derailed the whole first half of the podcast. I don't know. But Todd Glass has his own podcast, and he's got his own. He's a funny guy. Don't let me get you wrong. Todd Glass is a funny guy. But the Drop the Needle podcast with Sam Hyde is funnier. If you don't know who Sam Hyde is, check out some of his body of work. He's not for everybody, definitely. Especially people that are a little bit more sensitive. He's not going to be for you guys. He admits, that the reason why he's so over the top, and because he can't be funny otherwise. It's like he can't do stand-up without having that gimmick of, I'm playing a racist character, or I'm just going to say some fucked up shit. You can't do it without that. And, it's refreshing to know, like, yeah, so, yeah, he knows his limits. He's just a guy trying to make TV shows and whatnot. Sucks that his show was canceled on Adult Swim, though, because the episodes I did catch online, man, there's some real, I don't know who's coming up with the skits or whatever, but there's some real, not the man in the street stuff, that's not that funny, but there's some real knee slappers, if you will. I forget. The show was called World Peace. So World Peace was canceled, which is funny in itself, right? World Peace got canceled. That's a funny statement. But yeah, check it out. Give it a try. But I've been watching listening to a lot of comedians' podcasts. The What the Fuck, WTF, whatever he's calling it. I first got into that. And then from there, I spun off into sillier podcasts and more absurd. Your Mom's House is a good one. Check that out. Shout out to Tom Segura. Am I saying that right? Segura? Anywho, shout out his wife, whatever her name is. And that's a funny one. Their clips do get old. Once you've seen a couple of them, they're like, oh, let's play comedian or celebrity in this clip that we played 18 other comedians and celebrities. So that will get old, and they just need new clips. That's all. They need to not recycle the same old clips, because some of the clips are classic. They're classic clips, but just I don't know. Who am I to give advice to people that have had their own Netflix specials and successful TV shows and whatever? I'm nobody to give those people types of advice, right? But, use some new internet clips. That's all I'm saying. There are places on Reddit, where you can find absurd clips. And that's all the, dark side of YouTube, Reddit, and if you're relying on your fans to supply the clips, then yes, you're gonna, I don't know if you have somebody review them or what the process is with all that, but some of them are really lame now that I've watched a couple, shows, and I see them use the same recycled clip over and over and over again. The Try It Out guy is the worst. It's like, oh, he makes an appearance every episode. He should be getting royalties from your podcast. So what are the podcasts? The other Tiger Belly. That's with Bobby Lee. If you don't know who that is, he's been in some movies, I think. Was Bobby Lee in a movie, or is that the other Chinese looking guy? Either way, Bobby Lee and his girlfriend have a podcast, and it's called Tiger Belly. He's most known from Mad TV, right? So most known from Mad TV. I guess the later seasons. I kind of fell off Mad TV early, so I didn't. Look what I can do! I remember that guy. Whatever happened to his career, I don't know, but look what I can do! What was the other quote that I can remember from Mad TV? You look like a man! Right? Those are two quotes I know. But, what was I gonna say about all that? Well, that one's a little bit. Again, if you don't like Bobby Lee, you don't like his comedy, you're not gonna like the show because it's very Bobby Lee oriented. It's very Bobby Lee talk about Bobby Lee again. That's cool. But if you're into like Bobby Lee's comedy, then you'll like Tiger Belly. Or some of the other ones I checked out recently. Usually it's just the comedian's name. And like, yeah, this is my podcast or whatever's. There was one more I thought was like noteworthy. What was it? I think the Mark was the WTF. If you really want to like hear, I don't know, people. There's a lot of commercials in that one. It's like hard to get through an episode of that. But he tries to, be real with the people. Some of the episodes are really depressing, but it is what it is, right? It seems like every comedian now has their own podcast thing going on. Joe Rogan, of course, it's a no-brainer. That's a quality podcast. It's been going on forever. I tried to get into the Kevin Smith podcast, but I couldn't. It was, it's Kevin Smith, so there's only so much of that you can take without vomiting in your own mouth. Not to shit on Kevin Smith or any of his body of work, because, I do appreciate Clerks. Some couple of the other movies he's made, I can appreciate. some of the comic books he's written. Pretty damn good. So yeah, I am testing out, what is this called? Streamlab. I don't know. The quality of the camera does look a little potato-ish to me. These are the optimized settings to get it out there. So I'm using Restream and whichever. And it looks like I do like that it shows you how many frames per second and kilobytes in a non-intrusive way. The other one, there's just too much on the screen. How about the other one? I'm talking about Bitstream, the app. So, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to switch over to this or if I'm just going to use this. You know, they both do the same thing, essentially. And I'm going to check out the video and see which one drops less frames. I don't know if that even matters at this low resolution. But we'll check it out. You know, give it a go. Why not? I tried to stream to D Live like this. That ain't working. I can't get. It just cuts in and out, in and out, in and out. And I don't know if that's on the D Live side. Probably is. But what was I saying about the video? Oh, what I was trying to get into about the whole Norm Macdonald podcast is thank God for decentralized video, right? Because otherwise, that would have been lost. I know somebody had the files, but it probably would have just been like a torrent or, you know, lost to the internet forever. Who knows? But, so yeah, he's definitely doing something with his podcast. Like, unless he just got sick of comments and people watching his podcast. I don't know. I really don't know what the deal is. But either way, it's jarring that to see like all of his videos just, you know, privated. It's like, man, is he mad at the internet right now? What's going on? Taking a hiatus? Sick of people, his fans asking, well, when are you doing the podcast again? Maybe all the above. Who knows? But if you're watching this, Norm, bring your podcast back. You know, put it back online if you don't got to deal with Netflix or Amazon or whoever, Hulu. Bring it back. If you're doing that for legal reasons, I understand. You know, you signed a thing saying, hey, we're going to take down the podcast. And we're going to exclusively only upload it to brand whatever. I get it. But, you know, as a fan of the podcast, I like to, you know, watch it. I wish I could remember his straight man's name. I really drawing a blank here, though. But, he always wears like a suit and tie and he plays a good straight man. There's a new kid on the blockchain, right? Let's talk about the new kid on the blockchain before we end this here. Pop Chest. So go check out their white paper or whatever and see what they're all about. They're trying to brand themselves as YouTube on the blockchain. You know, and I don't know if that branding is gonna. We'll see. You know, maybe that's a genius way to brand it. YouTube on the blockchain. Everyone understands YouTube and what it does. But it has such a negative connotation now that maybe you don't want to brand yourself as YouTube on the blockchain. You know, with creators looking hard and long for alternatives just to get off that platform. maybe branding yourself as that platform isn't a great idea. But I understand where you're coming from. You want to appeal to the lowest common denominator, and that is an easy way to do it. Like, hey, we're YouTube. We do what YouTube does, but on the blockchain. That's the easiest way to get your message across. I understand. But I don't know. We'll see if it plays out. Right now, there's nothing for you to... I think you can, like, make a channel if you get to their Pop Partners program. If you get through it there, then you can make a channel name or something, or claim your spot or something. But anywho, it's yeah. So let's recognize the new kid on the blockchain. It's that dude. Yeah, I watched a podcast about, you know, the creator or the CEO of the Pop talk about his, and essentially it's, you know, another DTube, another whatever, however you want to say it, but, you know, no ads type of system. You get rewards for sharing, and you can also have exclusive, like, pay-per-view type system. But yeah, it's watch out for them. All right. They're very strong influence on the other social medias, so this should be interesting. What is that, a Nissan?